Well, I made a post about it last night, but I decided I might as well make a video today about it too. Yesterday, between roughly 5:20 p.m. and 7:15 p.m., I hung out with Telly and another mutual friend of ours. We'll call him Justin. Justin, he's one of those smart kids who kind of just, deflated, and he's a loser in a different sense. He's a loser in the sense that he doesn't have a social life. He doesn't have a car either, but I don't think he really needs one. Apparently, for the last 16 months, he worked overtime for one of those American startup companies. I think he said that between the hours of 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., that was the only time he didn't have, work. So about 6 hours of sleep, I guess, although it sounds like he got less. He did take naps while he was working, and a lot of the time he had to wait for the computer to finish processing stuff that he was doing for said company. So he was basically just a hermit. I'm pretty sure he never saw the sun at all. He was a vampire, but he's kind of fun in that dead inside sort of sense. It was nice to meet with him and talk with him. He's pretty chill. And Telly was Telly. He's also pretty chill. We stopped at a local Shoppers. We bought a bag of sweet chili heat Doritos, and we just split it between the three of us. We were standing outside in the snow in the middle of an empty parking lot, pretty much, eating Doritos, which is kind of funny. And then what do we do after? Then we drove to this convenience store that Telly knows about, and we bought what did we get? He bought himself a soda or a drink of some kind. It was in a glass bottle. I didn't know what it was. And then I got a Fanta, also in a glass bottle, and a bag of chicken wieners. I ate the wieners. They were kind of boring. I was hoping for salami, but wieners are wieners. And the Fanta was pretty lacking as well. I drank it really quickly. I had to stop myself while I was drinking it because otherwise I would have dunked the whole thing in a minute. But it was a fun night, I guess. Oh, I just remembered we went to Waterloo Park after the convenience store, and we showed Justin all the lights they have. Right, they have these colored lights, and they're in the shape of famous cartoon or anime characters or whatever. It was mostly a couple parents with their little kids there, but it wasn't bad, Just, just show, we were just showing Justin that there's still that there's still a world out there, outside of his basement. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, live in his basement. That was a joke. And I got to choose a playlist, which was cool, and we did a lot of driving around town. Somewhere in there we stopped for gas too, and me and Justin were too lazy to get out of the car, so we just sat and talked about, people we knew. It was nice. It was a good New Year's. That was one of the best New Year's I've ever had. Previous New Year's as a kid, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I was either reading or I was at school. So it didn't matter. And then, all the other New Year's, I was probably just surfing YouTube. I was on my laptop, most likely. I've never done shit for New Year's until this year. So again, Telly, thank you a lot if you're watching this. You're a fucking G, bro. Not gonna lie, without him, I would have no life. Fred doesn't come by anymore. He hasn't swung by in 2 months. And me and Telly now, we actually go places. So yeah, legit, without that guy, I would not be going anywhere. I would just be stuck inside all fucking day. Well, not all day, but I would basically just be stuck in my suburb, forever. So, that was a pretty memorable experience. What else? I guess this one's memorable too. There's this, she appeared in one of the live streams, that's all I'll say, but, there's this girl, this blonde named, Sarah that, I used to know in high school. We didn't talk much. Um, um, I think I had two classes with her. That was it. I was in in grade 10, we were in the same grade 10 we were in the same history class, then grade 11 the same advanced functions class. Again, I only talked to her once cuz I didn't give a shit. I was just mostly focused on myself and the few friends I did make who were all guys. I didn't talk to girls much. Well, except for the three in my chemistry class in grade 11. Well, yeah, the three, but that's a different story. We don't really care. But yeah, I remember I did talk to her once, made her laugh. I told her a really stupid joke, you know. So that was nice. I guess you can say that's an achievement. Um, she she's gotten pretty. How shall I say? She's gotten pretty big, pretty tough. A lot of muscle on her. Like holy shit, she's big. I think she's like on the other side of the country in BC now, and she's probably gonna stay there. Yes, I follow her on socials. That's how I know. Duh. Doesn't take a detective to figure that out. Um, but she's kind of based on what I know of her and what I see of her. She seems to be the adventurous type. She's one of the most she's one of the most adventurous women I've known. You know, the usual stuff of swimming and marathons and cycling. A lot of girls I know from, high school from the past, they all seem to be doing that. A lot of them are getting pretty tough, which is kind of like, just like these guys are running marathons and like climbing up ropes, and I'm sitting in my room. Just feels pretty humiliating. But I mean, they got a foundation of concrete and I got a foundation of sand. Like realistically, who do you think's gonna build a house that's gonna last longer? You know. I guess the defining traits about Sarah is that, well, one thing I do like about her is that she chops wood. I mean, it is BC. A lot of people probably chop wood over there, but I've seen videos of her just swinging an axe over her head down a log or two, and it's just like, oh well, that's pretty interesting. And sometimes I ride with Telly, but I guess something about us doing a night drive kind of made it that way. Always makes me kind of think of Sarah. You know, usually it's I'm in the driver's seat and she's in the passenger seat. Sometimes it's different. She's driving and I'm sitting in the passenger seat. We're basically doing what me and Telly do, but wilder. Got some music on. She's probably singing. She's the kind to sing to songs on the radio, I think. We're just driving around really fast. Drifting in the snow. Just doing dumb shit. Loitering near stores, all that crap. I don't know her that well, but at least in my head, I guess I associate her with adventure and fun and someone who could bring me out of my shell, the kind of person who grabs you and drags you out and just like we're gonna do something stupid today and you're like okay cool, someone who makes life interesting. I think that's what she represents, kind of just a desire to really have fun, unfiltered fun and really live, because I never got to do that, obviously, and I probably never will, right? So it's a nice little daydream cope to have. She is, pretty, obviously. Um, Again, the main thing is just like, holy crap, bro, she's strong as fuck. Like, good lord. I think she's like I think she might be a little taller than me. Maybe like an inch or two. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's pretty impressive. Um, so, there's that too. I don't know. Just just a lot of unfulfilled desires and, dreams that I had once when I was younger and dumb and I still believed. And I keep those dreams alive because, well, man's got to keep himself going somehow, right? When reality is too cruel, you retreat inside your head. The only difference is that before I did it because I was delusional. Now I do it because I must. Just a nice way to release some happy chemicals inside my brain and, get me feeling good. I would like to meet her someday, though. Talk to her, you know, one on one, just once. See what kind of a person I'm dealing with. Same thing for my one-itis as well. I've mentioned her before. I'll just use her name here, Chloe. That's what we'll say her name is. I would like to meet her again. Also just talk with her one on one, face to face. Again, see what I'm dealing with. There's something about talking to someone in private that it's a bit easier to see who they really are, because, well, you know what I'm talking about. I'm self aware enough to realize that will probably never happen, but it's a nice wish. A man can wish, right? Even if it's impossible. It's getting pretty late. It's like 5:42 as of now, so I was going to take a walk, but, it's kind of snowy and dark, so I might not. And what else? I gotta mop the floor, and then I gotta cut some vegetables, and those will both take a bit of time. Yeah, that's my life. Just shovel the snow, do household chores, stare at my laptop, and watch everybody else live. It's great. It really is. But yeah, again, Telly, if you're seeing this, thank you, man. You really did give me one of the best New Year's I've had ever. So, see you around, mate. And for the rest of you, I don't know, you do anything for New Year's? And for those of you who have had friends, or I guess this is a general question, did you ever know someone who, they made your life better? They made your life interesting, even if they were only around for a short while. Like, did you ever know anyone like that? Or, maybe you didn't. Probably not. I will say if YouTube strikes this video and takes it down, because of me talking about, women and stuff, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. Like I wasn't insulting them, just talking about two of them that I know. So, we'll see. Whatever, man. Peace.